What is your name, your title, and what inspired you to run for office?
Well, my name is Satpal Singh Sidhu, and I've been on the council for 5 years, and then I became county executive starting 2020. Why I am running again? Because almost 3 years of my term has been taken up by COVID and floods, and but at the same time I still was able to do a lot of different topics and issues, and I think that I need to continue some work on some major important issues like our new jail and water adjudication and few other things. So that's why I decided to seek a second term.
What are you most proud of in your career?
In my past, just as a county executive, let's start with that, is I'm really proud that during this unprecedented, unknown crisis, I held steady. I was never confused. You will never see a headline in a newspaper, county executive is confused or county executive doesn't know what to do, because I knew what to do. And of course, the biggest thing is I'm really proud that I was able to get a collaboration with all 7 mayors, and we always had a 9-0 vote on every topic for 3 years. And that is 7 mayors, Sheriff Elfo, and myself. So these 9 people are the head of the emergency operating council, and we were all unanimous all the time.
The County Council has decided that the jail should be located in Ferndale. Do you agree? If yes, how will you get this project passed?
I think this is not question of agreeing or disagreeing. We were looking at the different sites as what is the best site for everything. There are only 3 sites left for us to consider: the downtown, or the Division Street, or the Labounty Street. We thought that Division Street makes a lot of sense to create a campus for health, behavioral and mental health things. It suits it, but it has less space to build a jail and that. And we found that Ferndale property had more advantages. One, it costs less, it gives daylighting in every cell, and expandability. And distance-wise from downtown, it took a little over 12 minutes to go to Division Street. It took 14 minutes to go to Labounty. So distance-wise, it wasn't. It was a toss-up. So I think that's the council made the right decision from our recommendations that we should locate it there. Now, how are we going to get it passed is again, it's a big task of collaboration. I think it's informing. People have ideas from last 2 failed attempts, and the Ferndale site has been tainted. And as a jail complex, I think that has been false and is proven to be false. And I think that we will be able to make a case to the public that this is the right decision for our communities.
Our community is one of the fastest growing in the Pacific Northwest, and affordable housing is one of the top concerns in our area. What kind of things can the county executive do to affect this? And how will you ensure our community is welcoming to all?
I think this is this thing when we say county executive can do, this is a process where county executive and council both have to do it together. And I am very much attuned to this issue. Legislature this year has really passed several issues. GMA has passed some amendments to the single-family zoning. You can build duplex, triplex, fourplexes. So single-family zoning is not single-family zoning anymore, which is a huge, but it'll take a couple of years to have the results on the ground. And I think that we have a comprehensive plan coming up in 2025. I think we should write in our code affordable housing as a priority for our community for next decade, and do some land use policy changes. And these are discussions through the Planning Commission. This is not one body, but I will make the recommendations as county executive to the Planning Commission, to the council, and together I think we can achieve that. We need more land. We need to use our land more efficiently. We need to build lots with 4,000 or 5,000 square feet. We need to build more homes which are 800 to 1,200 square feet and no more, and use our land much better. Same roads, same electricity, same utilities, but increase our density in different ways and still have single family homes as much as others. So I think there are ways that I am able to do that, and I will make those suggestions and recommendations.
In the last 3 years, the health department has nearly doubled in size and dramatically expanded its scope. This has led to some complex administrative challenges. For instance, the department has had a turnover rate of over 50%. Have we expanded the health department due to the pandemic, or is this the new normal? How will you set that department up for success?
It is a complex question and complex answer. When I got on and I hired the new director of health services for Whatcom County, and it was like starting of pandemic when we hired Erica. And it was a natural expansion of that. Every eye, every brain, was concentrated on what is the health department going to do, because it was a community health problem, and squarely fell in their place. And they were the lead on the emergency operations. And so that was a natural expansion of that. But at the same time, the health department takes only 7% of their budget comes from the general fund. A lot of times people may not know these facts. And rest of the funding is from all the programs which have been coming from federal government, state government, and other sources. So when they say that we should have a program for, because this is, let me back up. This is a department has changed its name from Health and Community Services. This is the new name. So there are several community services which would otherwise would have been done other places are now into this department. Community services like affordable housing, sheltering people. So these are all part of the health department. Same thing is parts of pandemic, parts of Healthy Children Fund. All these things are part of the health department. So the funding source, behavioral health, GRACE, LEAD, alternate response, all these things have wrapped up into that. So this is not just that department has expanded. I think their services, the array of services they provide is also expanded. So, and we did look at the last biennium budget, and it came down to that no more than 7% of general fund is going towards these services. And so yes, it is a new challenge for us. That the services in the community, the need, you see the homeless problem, you see the mental health problem, you see the police response problem. These are all combined into, and I'm happy that we are able to actually address all these issues through a department in a coherent manner. So that's what the reason is, that there is an expansion of that department.
Right now, the county and the small cities are having a vigorous debate around their urban growth areas as they attempt to accommodate the growing population squeezed out of Bellingham. What will you do to navigate this dispute?
Well, I think that land use policy changes and density. I think Bellingham has done a good job last 3-4 years. They have built very few single family homes, put it this way. Their emphasis, 80-90% have been going on the multifamily homes, which is great. But there is a demand for single family homes as well. And that population, those buyers, residents have moved to these small cities. And at the same time, the balancing part is we do not want to build on our best agricultural land. Especially Linden Ferndale is running out of the lands which are human habitat. Now they're going into agriculture habitat or agricultural lands. I think this is where I come in with more out-of-the-box ideas that why don't we build Custer into a large city of 25,000 people, because that is close to the freeway and Custer land is neither good for agriculture, it's not developed, but it's developable. We can build a brand new city like everybody else is doing. New infrastructure, new technology, and new way of building a planned city, not like by incremental plan. But I think it will take time for people to absorb or community to accept something like this. Urban growth areas is an issue. Cities don't have money to provide the utilities the way our GMA says that you cannot provide utilities in UGA until it is annexed. So that's a conundrum, right? And cities have to raise taxes, which is not a good proposition either. So I think that we have to sit down together as a community, all the cities, and work through this issue one piece at a time.
There are a lot of different tools to tackle homelessness, but we don't have endless funding. What do you think is the most effective tool deserving county support? What is your top priority for tackling homelessness?
I think tackling homelessness is that there should be a continuum of that. If we just do the provide a temporary housing or provide tiny homes and that becomes the permanent residence is not a good long-term proposition. I'm in favor of tiny homes because county did buy 50 tiny homes at that crisis time and during pandemic, and we supported the Garden View Tiny Home Village and the Homes Now new Tiny Home Village, and we continue to support that, and we continue to support the shelter. We have continued to support the home base through the mission, which is having 250 people, but having those people at base camp saying, oh, this is your permanent home is not the right solution long term. It's unsustainable. And same thing is the tiny homes. I think that the continuum is missing. So my priority would be that gain some more funds from the state and create that continuum. So people, this should be a short-term help to people to get a housing situation figured. Then let them go get their job, get their properly prepared for that environment and become productive and step up to get a permanent housing. And so creating that permanent housing is my priority. And we have actually spent over $15 million over with ARPA and Housing Fund 1590, 1406, all these things. 1590 was also passed during pandemic on my recommendations to the council. So we will get those things and make it more a continuum is the. To me, that is by my most priority. Homelessness numbers have increased, and it is sad. But this is overall economic policies of federal government, state government. Counties, local cities don't cause homelessness. It's caused by something else, but they are asked for the solutions. That's the wrong way of solving this. We need to ask more from federal and state to solve this.
With the continuing struggles facing local media and the impact that COVID has had on community events and public spaces, how do we come together as a community and combat the division we see online?
Yes, I think there's so many, it's a confluence of so many different things. Of course, COVID happened. Of course, media concentration is happening, consolidation is happening, and the digital media came in, its impact. These are the things which take like 5-10 years to really impact on this thing, and it's the slowly creeping thing. And COVID created a confluence because some of the media companies couldn't survive, smaller companies couldn't survive, and it became a big issue. So I think that public needs different sources of information to get to the real facts. The bias in media is known, and so local sources will be more unbiased than other sources would be. So I think there should be an encouragement for that, and this is a natural phenomenon, and it will happen. I think we just as a community, it is not a Whatcom County thing, it's a nationwide thing, and new ways are coming up. Now AI is in there, and how people can go on their computer and find different sources, what others are saying about the same topic. So it will just, with time, it will solve itself.
Would you like to share a closing statement?
I just have a general message, if I may. My general message is that pandemic and floods have really been a unique and devastating events for our community. We need to recover from that. And changing the guard is not the right way to do that, because anybody comes to this job, this is a complex job. And coming to it, you need some background and experience. So I had 40 years of experience, administrative experience, which actually proven that how I was able to be steady through day to day. Things were changing every day, sometimes morning to evening, and but we kept a steady hand. We had two budgets, balanced budgets. We didn't lay off anybody. And we didn't cut budgets. We did cut budgets, and thanks to the federal government and state government, we got CARES Act dollars, we got ARPA dollars, which we put it back in the community. I think this is the best way ever in the United States that federal counties, cities got directly money from federal treasury. And I think it was very effective because money was immediate and deployment was immediate. There were sidebars, and we knew what the rules are, and we invested more than $10 million in child care stabilization. We spent money on affordable housing. We spent money on the Cultural Land Trust. We bought a land for them, almost 10 acres, and gave them 5 years to gather the money so they can build it. Otherwise, we could not have held the land, and the land would go double in price in meantime. So we were able to do that kind of creative work, and now there is a comprehensive plan coming up. I want to be there to do what we learned, these things we talked about in our community, that we can make some correct steps. And at the same time, water adjudication. Water is an existential issue. I've been able to facilitate between the both tribes and the farmers and the environmental people, so that we can come to a table. Of course, adjudication is going to go on, and I support that fully, but at the same time, to solve community problems, we must come together. And that's what I'm going to do over the next 4 years. Thank you.